right, welcome to our second round of Tuesday Night Takedowns. It is our first time running this tournament series. On this stream, we have Nick in the red sleeves. He's going to be playing Malamar, and we have Megan in orange sleeves. She's playing Magcargo Torkoal. She's going to be relying on those smooth over Magcargos to help accelerate energy, as well as the Orangaroos. The Torkoal gets to do a bit more damage if she's able to get like a fire energy off the top. The Magcargo has a lot of big damage burst potential. And Nick's deck's a little more straightforward. It's something you've probably seen if you've been following, but he's going to be working with Malamar to accelerate energy onto Mewtwo and Mew tag team, Trevenant Dusknoir tag team, and using that Night Watch to shuffle cards from Meg's hand back into her deck, as well as Barney to limit her down to, as close to a 2-3 card hand as he can every turn. All right, so Nick is going to be going first in this match, and you may begin. All right, so we see start of Mewtwo from Nick and Vulpix and Ditto from Meg. One thing that we really like about Vulpix and Ninetales going into this season is it's a guaranteed gust for minimal effort with all the cards that we have that support fire-type Pokemon. The 9 Temptations on Ninetales definitely isn't bad. Starting the Ninetales gives Meg that option of having any of her Magcargos. Having the 4th Slugma is really good. But if that Vulpix goes down too early, having a new option for Ninetales could be a big thing. Nick starts off getting a Psychic Energy in the discard, which is, how Malamar likes to start to get an EK on the bench. Mewtwo's got a Psychic Energy in the active. A common early play that we see from these new Malamar decks is being able to drop a Horror House on the opponent to slow them down. Looking at Nick's hand, that may be where he's going, especially because he doesn't have a lot of other options in his hands. He can get that second energy down on Mewtwo and provide the draw 7 effect for Horror House, which may, just give him what he needs to get moving. He does have a Malamar. He has, a couple good cards. So we see that Orangaroo that we were talking about earlier, with the Primate Wisdom allowing her to trade a card from her hand with a card on top of the deck. Meg is opted to play Pokemon Communication, sending Ninetales back, probably trying to get like a Slugma on the field. And that's what we see. She's going to probably spend the first turn or two trying to just establish a bunch of Slugmas and Magcargos so that, her strategy can come to fruition. We're going to be kind of left wondering about that Torkoal in this game. If you don't know, it's got a 3 energy for 90 attack, and you discard the top card of your deck. If it's a fire energy, you do 90 more damage. Then for 4 energy, it does, I think, 120 damage and discards an energy off your opponent's active, which, with Nick playing Malamar, that's not going to be what's so beneficial. Here we see Meg tossing a Quick Ball to play a Quick Ball. We'll see what she's searching out. Having a large variety of Magcargo options is good. Depending on what that last card in her hand is, though, maybe another Orangaroo to try to switch out the card in hand for, a supporter. That could be good. But Meg goes with that Torkoal that we were talking about. We'll see where she goes with it from here. Going second, she has the ability to, weld her onto that Torkoal and possibly get that early 190 damage off. But with that 1-card hand, it's hard to think that that's exactly what's going to happen, because I'm guessing if she's played down to 1 card and then get like another Orangaroo, she's probably got a supporter to draw her some cards at this point. Otherwise, she's going to depend on Primate Wisdom turning that card into something good, and that's what she did. She gets a fire, and she throws it on Torkoal and passes. I don't know. So Nick top decked a Ditto. We see that Gengar Mimikyu come down. Mewtwo gets an energy. And he throws out Horror House because he has the extra energy. Both players are going to draw till they have 7, which, is great for Meg and Nick. They both had fairly dead hands. But the other effect is Meg is not able to play any cards from her hand this turn, so she pretty much gets to look at her hand. She could Primate Wisdom something that she's worried about losing right now and hope for the best, but I don't know if the Primate Wisdom really does anything unless, for some reason, she only has 2 trainer cards in hand. She could throw one back to protect that Vulpix for a turn. But I don't know. That doesn't feel great to me. Because, we talked about Nick is probably trying to get that Trevenant Dust Noir on the field. And if he does and gets that, Night Watch attack off, whatever she threw on top isn't going to come back to her next turn. Nick is able to throw down, a 3rd Psychic Energy, so he's now officially got enough for Night Watch. We see him discarding Dragonite. That's pretty helpful in taking those big knockouts for 5 energy, doing 270 damage. It does take a little bit of effort to recharge it, but, in this tag team heavy format, it's definitely going to help him overcome some of those walls. He goes and grabs a Dedenne, which, is going to be good. He's got some attackers in his hand that he wants to probably put in the discard pile. He's sitting on a Chaotic Swell, which is probably going to be good if he can throw it down because it's going to keep Meg from getting Giant Hearth onto the field as easily. He goes ahead and drops the Psychic Recharge, giving some energy to that Gengar, Mimikyu. And here's that Chaotic Swell we were talking about. And, he Dedenne is throwing away 2 switches, a Malonalana, and the Trevenant Dust Noir. He's probably not too worried about those switching cards because they're probably going to be playing blow for blow in this game where whatever, Nick is able to knock out, Meg is hoping to return the KO with her Magcargo. But, limiting his switch options may make that Torkoal a bit more of a, wild card here, being able to discard energy that he can't get back. And, here's one of those great things that we were doing with now is, Nick goes to play the Great Catcher, seeing that Torkoal V, and Nick's all ready to get the V card, and he's like, oh, wait, this card can only get GXs. Yeah, I don't have any targets, so I can't even play it now. All right, so here goes that combo. We see Nick play the Marnie. Both players shuffling their hands. Luckily, they're not shuffling them into their deck. They're just going to put them on the bottom of their deck. And then Nick gets 5, Meg gets 4. Nick gets a switch and an air balloon, which may help if, something gets knocked out and he's left in a pinch to recharge things. We see him kind of throwing his attackers off to the side so he can remember what options he has. And we see that, Night Watch attack. He gets to take Meg's 4-card hand down to 2 cards. He hits, looks like a Magcargo and a Ninetales shuffled back into deck. And now Meg is left starting her turn with only 3 cards. Maybe Meg got lucky and she kept, like, a professor's research. I don't know. It's probably not good. We need to remember to knock that Vulpix out. So Meg's kind of left with a decision of what does she throw active. Nothing probably really feels good right now. But we see, Flannery's Torkoal coming on up. And Meg just shaking her head going, y'all gave me 3 cards to work with, and these are the 3 cards. She's probably just kind of banking on this Primate Wisdom giving her something. And, that look is pretty dejected looking. See a Welder for 1 never feels good. Meg gets the card back that she just threw away. And she does manage to pull off enough energy to do Torkoal's first attack. I know there's something in her hand that she's kind of like bent on, wondering what does she do with it. And, she doesn't do anything other than just hits the Lava Plume for 90 damage. It seems insignificant, but if Nick doesn't knock out this Torkoal this turn, Meg could try to set up that Fire Energy play to hit the 180 to knock out Mewtwo, which, is going to be helpful in trying to establish like a hand above 2-3 cards. And, on the other side, even though Meg didn't have much to do with her hand last turn, she weldered and got something new. So if Nick's just left night watching and not knocking out Torkoal, maybe Meg is going to be able to pull off that Lava Plume play where she does 180 damage and goes for it. But, here we see Nick switching into the Malamar. If I were to make a guess, he's either hoping to sack the Malamar or seeing if he can't get 2 Psychic Energy in his discard pile so that he can Psychic Recharge and get Dragonite's big attack off to do 270, just knocking out that Torkoal. We see, Professor Research back in format, which is, wonderful. Discard your hand, draw 7 support. And now Nick Stone Stadium's coming back to kind of bite him in the butt. He has the Chaotic Swell and he has Viridian in hand, so he could have got to those 2 energy that he needs to pull off Dragonite's attack. But he can't play the Chaotic Swell or his Viridian Force because of his own Chaotic Swell. He goes back in there and he grabs himself a Giratina. And he quick balls the Giratina away. Giratina in its home in the discard pile where it likes to live. Nick kind of trying to choose between another Inkay or... Oh, he goes for the Blacephalon. Which, if Meg takes the knockout on that MewMew tag team, it'll put Blacephalon in his blow-away bomb range, which, lets him drop 120 damage, 12 damage counters on the Meg side of the field. Even if... Nick just wants to throw that down now and start spreading some damage out to make some of those knockouts easier. It could be helpful. Even if he did blow away bomb, tossed 4 on Torkoal, that gives him the ability to take it a knockout with Night Watch next turn. But it looks like maybe he's just going to go for a little bit of chip damage here with maybe Poltergeist. Hoping to hit some 3 cards out of Meg's hand, but really I think he needs to go for Night Watch, limiting that hand down and doing 150 damage. He's going to leave Meg with 1 card in hand and then a 1-card top deck. Ooh, he hit the Cynthia, so that would have been Meg's easy out to being able to get out of there. But, part of the cards, Meg could, still just get that. Maybe she uses Primate Wisdom, throws a Fire Energy back on top, takes the knockout with Lava Plume, puts herself a little bit closer to winning that game. But we see the Primate Wisdom taking a look that Meg didn't want to do it. She drops the Pokegear, probably more than anything to change the top card because she knows it's not Fire Energy. But it looks like there was no supporter there for her. Meg got a welder, but I'm guessing the other card in her hand isn't a Fire Energy. Otherwise, she may have been a little more gleeful to get some cards back into her hand. And probably if the other card was a Fire Energy, she would have thrown it down with Primate Wisdom just to get those 3 prize cards. At that point, I'm not even sure I would have taken the welder if I'm going to get, Night Watch next turn. I mean, I guess all it does is gives her, that increased chance at hitting the fire off of Lava Plume, which, may or may not be relevant. We see Mag Cargo GX coming down. Yeah, coming down. It has an ability that can help it accelerate energy, but she opts for the Lava Plume, hitting the Oranguru off the top of her deck. Again, missing the knockout by just that 1 card being on top of the deck. I think if I'm Meg here, I'm hoping that I can kind of quickly get this Mag Cargo powered up with its ability and maybe a welder or, an attachment, and just kind of, hoping Nick can only do so much work on it. Meg's not playing any tag team, so this Torkoal knockout Doesn't do a whole lot for Nick. It can push him still into a 7-prize game where he's knocked out, the Vulpix, then he knocks out Torkoal, then he takes 2 more prizes off the Mag Cargo, and maybe Meg's going to throw down another Mag Cargo just to force him into, a bad situation. And here, Nick is playing Caitlyn Cynthia, and he gets back his Malamar, which if Meg isn't able to pick up this knockout on the next turn, could hurt a lot. It erases all the damage she had got on the field. And we know all she's got in her hand is a welder. And that's about to probably go away thanks to our good friend Nightwatch. They kind of discard pile, making sure he's got everything ready that he wants to have. Considering that, just goes ahead and Nightwatch, sends back the welder. And this kind of puts Meg in a super awkward position. Like, she has to top deck something, or you just think she's out of the game at this point. That's about the best you can do is kind of like buy yourself a turn with Mag Cargo. And she just says, I can't do anything. Who knows? All right. We'll be coming back at you in a little bit with round 3. If you're interested in our series, go ahead and drop that like and follow below. And, follow us on our other social medias in the information section of this video.